Good evening. I'm Jordan Early, and tonight we are fortunate to be joined with 17th Legislative District Representative Michelle Brooks. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for the invitation to be here.
Let's start off with the recent federal health bill that was just signed into law. How do you feel about Pennsylvania's Attorney General Tom Corbett joining with 13 other state attorney generals who are filing a lawsuit to stop it?
I think the premise for the Attorney General's lawsuit is to protect the residents of Pennsylvania and their rights, and Pennsylvania as a whole and its rights. So I think it's going to move forward. The Attorney General has spoken very firmly that he is going to continue with it. And again, it's not that the Attorney General is not saying that health care doesn't need reformed. What he is saying is this infringes on the rights of the residents of Pennsylvania.
Okay. Governor Ed Rendell says the lawsuit is a waste of time. What would you say in response to that specifically?
Well, he said the same thing about the tolling of I-80, and many of the people that were pushing for the tolling of I-80 said that we were wasting our time in trying to stop the tolling. And as you're aware, this week, the Federal Highway Administration announced that we were able to stop the tolling of I-80. I believe in the art of the possible and not the impossible, and the Attorney General is going to move forward.
You recently voted no, supporting taxpayers against the new budget proposal proposed by Governor Ed Rendell. The budget proposal spends 4% more than the current one. Why specifically no?
It's a vote that protects the taxpayers. The well is dry when it comes to going back to the taxpayers for additional revenues. Government has to operate more effectively and more efficiently, and this budget does not reflect that. The administration needs to look within how government is operating. The Department of Public Welfare, there's millions of dollars that have been indicated as far as abuse and fraud. That's not being dealt with. That needs to be dealt with. And the bottom line is Pennsylvania residents cannot afford this budget.
And that's the big question. How is Pennsylvania going to pay for this budget increase?
Make no mistake, this level amount of continued spending, it has to lead to a tax increase. I know one of the proposals was lowering the sales tax and broadening the sales tax. What the concern there is, it starts at 4% and then it goes to 4.5% and back up to 5 and 5.5 and 6%, and it goes into a black hole. Nothing is in this budget being proposed to fix what is broken within the budget system. And that's what many of us are saying is, let's look within and fix the core problems. Let's operate more effectively and more efficiently.
Okay, and for our viewers, the proposal calls for a $354.8 million increase in basic education funding. What are your thoughts when it comes to how much the budget should be when it comes to education funding?
Well, just to put that number into perspective, the current proposal proposes an $89 million increase for the Philadelphia School District, yet they have 12% of the student population. So put that into perspective, and proportionally, it's out of proportion. So education is important. However, there are several things that we could be doing as a state to lower the cost of education, but also support education.
Okay, and what can the local community do to get more involved with the government?
I think in my district, the 17th Legislative District, the local community is very involved. We have town hall meetings. I receive hundreds of emails every week, every day I should say, thousands during a week, phone calls, people stopping into the office. So I'm very pleased, and I'm out and about, and I love to interact with the people of the 17th District. That's how we work together to strengthen our area and to make it a better place to live and raise our families.
That's great. And anything that you'd like to add that I didn't cover?
Well, just going back to the education funding, A couple of ideas that we are proposing is to allow the school districts to have more flexibility with their education funding. Don't take the cookie cutter approach as far as each individual school district, and allow them more flexibility in how they spend their dollars. The No Child Left Behind federal mandate, schools are being penalized, so on a state level, we are trying to work with the federal government to lift some of those mandates. The graduation assessment test, it's a new program that the administration has pushed. It's going to cost over $200 million. Wow. Now, if we are running a deficit in the state budget, why are we proposing to spend $200 million more on a new program that many educators are going to say, or have said, that it's not going to help students learn? So there are different ideas. We have to be creative, and above all, we have to realize that people are struggling, and government has to live within its means, and it starts with core fundamental changes.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us
Thank
tonight.
you very much.
Stay tuned, more County Line is on the way.